Hey, welcome back, gang. Today we will be doing a video showing you how I made our holiday dessert. It was a batch of vegan red velvet cupcakes. This is not a recipe of mine this time. This actually is a recipe from Loving It Vegan. I found it on Pinterest. It's actually the second time I made it. The first time I made it, it was a cake for my mother's birthday last year, December 24th. She's a Christmas Eve baby, and I wanted it again because I haven't had red velvet since. You don't really find much red velvet vegan things, so I made it for Christmas. So like I said, the recipe is from Loving It Vegan. I didn't really tweak much or anything like I usually do, so if you want to find the full recipe and details, I would look up Loving It Vegan. So here's just seeing me combine the dry ingredients, sift them together, and then I'm going to add the sugar, baking soda, and salt and get that all mixed together before I move on to adding the wet ingredients. And I make a little well, and I'm adding vegan buttermilk, which is buttermilk and lemon juice that I let sit up together so it could curdle, as well as now adding the vinegar and vanilla. I think that's all I added at this point. Oh, and oil. There we go. Just gotta let the video play. And then add the oil and some red food coloring. I do end up adding more. Boy, my hands are ashy. I do end up adding more. I don't really measure the food coloring. I just want it to be a certain color. So as I was mixing it, I saw that it really wasn't going to be the color that I wanted. So at some point you'll see me, there we go, put some more in there. So we mix that up just until combined. We don't want to really overmix it. And then we're going to fill up our cake liners. I did oil around the rims of the cupcake tin because I didn't know how much the dough would rise, or batter rather would rise. I started with this makeshift ice cream scoop. Do not recommend. I ended up getting a measuring cup and then using the spatula to empty the ingredients into each little liner. So we're gonna see that play out here. So if you've watched anything else I've made, you know I'm one of the people that wants to try to scrape everything. Scrape everything. I want every morsel. After that point, I will kind of bounce the pan against the table to get out a little bit of air bubbles. And I'm also cleaning the pan up because once it is baked on, it's harder to get off. So I just try to clean it up a little bit before that even happens. And then I'll do my little slap, slap, slap. You can see in the middle some bubbles came to the top. This is the cupcakes when they are straight out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool first. Then once they cool, I will put them on a cooling rack to cool further. So I just waited maybe 20 minutes. I went and did something and came back. And then I placed them on the cooling rack just to make sure they come to temp evenly all around, up and down, side to side. So in the meantime, I'm making my sour cream. I'm making my cream cheese icing. This is not a recipe of mine or anybody else's. I just mix together until I'm content. I really actually made it a little too loose, but I mean, it still tasted great. It just didn't hold the way I wanted to, and you'll see that as we come up to the decorating phase. So anyways, I have 1 tub of Miyoko's cream cheese, and I used 1 stick of butter. I don't think I ended up using the other one because I didn't end up using that much sugar. So I didn't need that much to, go around. So 1 stick of butter, 1 tub of cream cheese, a few splashes of vanilla. Then I think I ended up doing like 1.25 cups of confectioner's sugar. Then some milk to loosen it up. little more vanilla because I tasted it and it needed a little more vanilla, and then the lemon juice just gives it that brightness because you know you want cream cheese to kind of have that bite, not just be sweet like buttercream. And I could tell at this point it was a little too loose, but I wasn't adding more sugar to it, so I was like, it's fine, it tastes delicious, who's really gonna complain? So I am emptying it into a piping bag that's set inside of one of my blender bottles so that it would hold up without falling over. And I was gonna use a piping tip so I could be all fancy, but I really couldn't be bothered at this point. So I am ready to set up to start piping. So as you can see, I just cut the tip off because I was just going to do swirls, or I call them puffs. So the 6 on the right will end up being puffs and the 6 on the left will end up being little swirls. And like I said, we were going to see coming up here that it is a little too loose because I used to have a little baking thing on the side, and one of the things I really liked to do was top the cupcakes with like pecans or almonds, but I would dump the cupcake top over into the pecans and it would be basically like encrusted, but the icing has to hold up to do that. So you'll see that fail coming up. Then I am spraying on some little sparklies, just really because I had it left over from my birthday cake, and who doesn't like sparkles? So here I am realizing that if I flip this over, all the icing's gonna be on the plate. So I scooped it up with a spoon, and that was my only nut coated cupcake. And then I just did the rest in sprinkles. I used all the sprinkles out of this little container, not like all of them entirety. I mean the variation, I used all the variations except for the Christmas trees. For some reason I wasn't feeling them, so I didn't use the Christmas trees. My favorite sprinkles were the long sprinkles, this one. Those are my favorite. They remind me of the Grinch for some reason. So yeah. And then as I come to the end, I'm just going to use all the sprinkles that were on the plate. For that last cupcake, I called that one Christmas Mess. And then this is all of the mayhem, all the sparkles and the sprinkles that just didn't make the cut. And then I am just showing you the final result of the cupcake. So I'm going to cut one open so you can see the texture. Really good cupcake. A lot of the vegan cupcake recipes that I do use butter, which is great. It tastes great, but they have to be bought to room temp to eat. But when you use oil, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be as warm because you know butter is only liquid when it's warm or hot. So it changes the texture. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just showing you the bounce for the ounce here. Then did my little Korean finger heart. And then I'm going to plate up the pecan one with some ice cream, and I also had half of the one that I showed you that I cut. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, psych, I wanted to show you the red velvet I made last year. So I made a cake and cookies because we had family over. So this was the cake, and you can see the texture is different. It's made with butter, and these are the cookies, and that's it. Okay, bye for real now.